Hey guys, I'm Chris.
I'm Ariam.
We are the A-Team.
Hey y'all, this is Kanisha and Tony Proto.
What's up, everybody? It's Rebecca.
And Terry.
And we are the Skinners.
And this is the Marriage Plug.
Fairy tale, but this ain't a movie. Yeah. The way you make me feel, you do something to me. Yeah, yeah. I want my hands locked in yours with everything you know, giving you just what.
In today's episode, we're going to talk about what marriage is like in 2020 versus what marriage was like generations ago.
Does marriage in 2020 look the way it did, 20 years ago?
No.
A decade ago?
No.
You don't think so?
Marriage in 2020 versus what we thought marriage was going to be before we got married, based upon seeing the various marriages we saw as children and growing up.
I think a lot of people, again, for lack of a better term, back in the day, were getting married because that's what people did, was get married. I don't want to be having sex with this person and then not get married to them, or they're having my baby, so I need to get married to them, or I don't have income and he do, so I'm gonna get married to him. So nowadays in 2020, the men and the women have careers. So nobody's really just getting married just because. You know, I saw this study where it talked about millennials, right? Because we're both millennials, where it says the marriage rate for millennials is going down, but the divorce rate is also going down as well, because we are not just entering in marriages just for the sake of doing it.
So I think this is a really interesting topic because a lot has changed. When I think about marriage from, my grandparents' perspectives and my parents' age bracket, I think that their marriages included more gender roles.
Gender roles.
Agreed.
So I saw gender roles in marriages.
I think that they had a lot more, men are providers and protectors, and, women are nurturers, and they are,
taking care of the house.
Yeah.
And I didn't think that I was going to assume those kinds of roles when I got married.
Where I'm the one that is going to a 9-to-5 job and providing financially. Whereas Chris, back then they would have seen that as, a man that don't work, don't eat. But he is working. He's home. He's taking care of the house. He's learned how to cook. And it's just a bunch of things that he's able to do and support.
However, I still go get bread too. I'm a provider too. I feel like as far as paying bills, actually physically paying the bills, not being the one providing the money to pay all the bills, but physically paying the bills, I thought that was a male role.
Depends on who you marry. I'm bad at calling people to pay bills, but I'm good at giving the money for the bill.
1,000%. I didn't think that I would assume just that role of being the one that pays the bills, because I saw my dad do that. So I assumed that my husband was going to do that.
My dad was the man's man. He was handy around the house. He goes outside and handles the yard, edges the yard, mows the yard, put down seeds in the grass. So it's just the traditional form of what a man looks like.
But in our marriage, that's not how we roll.
I think people now is you have highlights of divorce parties now. So, excuse me. You got the turn up for my divorce. We getting lit. We going out to Vegas. What's good?
Divorce parties.
So that's to me, that's a crazy thing. What was you thinking when you even got into the marriage? And even now, people don't talk about finances like they probably should. They're not talking about what would it take when you have a child, or how y'all going to be able to provide for that child. Just essential things that really wasn't even talked about. You know what I mean? So now you're just coming into the whole entire marriage oh my God, what am I going through?
I mean, marriage ain't hard, but it's hard.
It is hard. What are you talking about?
It could be harder if you make it. As far as if you don't communicate. If you don't communicate, your marriage is going to be rough.
Marriage is not as sacred as people, as it should be.
It is. Especially, for us, there are couples that are practicing sacred marriage. However, because of what you see, on social media and things like that, it appears that marriage is not sacred, but don't get it twisted.
Yeah, it still is.
Marriage is still sacred.
But a lot of people are not taking it as
They're
serious.
not taking it as serious.
It's different. It's changed. So is it wrong? I don't think it's wrong. I think the most important thing is that the house overall understands what the vision is in every aspect, short term, mid-term, long term. And as long as the main vision of the house is being fulfilled, then, then submission happens both ways. I think that's another thing that happened. It used to be, it used to seem to be what the man says goes. And I think that there's a lot more communication of what longevity is going to look like. With us, I know it is. We talk a lot about what the future holds for us, how we want to go about moving in the future, when things change.
So what I do want to bring attention to is it's not a right or wrong thing. I think that everyone who is married or in a predicament, we should do what's right for our household.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, regardless of what those roles look like, the goal is for us to be able to build trust. We've built trust knowing that we both can go to work and provide. We've built trust knowing that I can stay home and hold down the fort. We've built trust knowing that Chris can stay at home and support. So we have that foundation that's solid, and it just makes for a stronger us and a stronger A-team.
Absolutely.
Point is, no, marriage doesn't look anything in 2020 the way it did, a decade ago per se. But we are starting to make smarter and wiser decisions as well when it comes to marriage. So.
Marriage plug.
All right, well, that's us. This is our marriage plug.
Thanks for joining.
Cut it. I think that's it for me.
I go right to the sky.